Hello, it is Saturday, April 11th, the Saturday of Holy Week, which has several names, but among them the easiest is Holy Saturday. And this is the day that is remembered as the day in which Jesus was in the tomb. He died on Good Friday, he rose on Easter Sunday, and he rose on the third day, obviously with inclusive counting, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so there was a day, for the Jews, a Sabbath day, when Jesus was in the tomb. That is for us a day of waiting. For the disciples, I'd imagine it was a day of despair, as they thought that their Messiah had passed. From what we gather from what happened on Easter Sunday, they did not have any hope. They were afraid. They were bewildered. But we know, of course, the end of the story. So we can't have a day of despair. As much as we try to enter into the experience of the disciples, we nonetheless know where this story is going. And so for us, this is really a day of expectation, a day of waiting on the Lord, and remembering that He is the God of possibilities and the God who triumphs over everything that seems impossible. That's important right now, as we're going through a grim time when so many people have suffered loss of different kinds. When this pandemic has cost many lives, when others have had to make tremendous sacrifices, when some have lost their jobs, at least temporarily, and there's questions about businesses and futures and the whole economy. And even those who are weathering it best are isolated, making do, and wondering when this will lift. Well, God is a God of possibilities. God is a God who triumphs. God has triumphed over sin and death and even the grave. And this day of waiting reminds us that this period we're going through is a time of waiting. And this life really is a time of waiting for God to bring the fullness of the promises and the life eternal in Jesus Christ. Of course, on that Holy Saturday, that first Holy Saturday, not everyone was waiting with expectation. If you go to the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 27, verses 62 to the end of the chapter, we read this. The next day, the one after preparation day, the chief priests and the Pharisees went to Pilate. Sir, they said, we remember that while he was still alive, that deceiver said, after 3 days I will rise again. So give the order for the tomb to be made secure until the third day. Otherwise his disciples may come and steal the body and tell the people that he has been raised from the dead. This last deception will be worse than the first. Pharisees, the teachers of the law, they seemed to have triumphed, but they were not enjoying their triumph on that dark Sabbath, that holy Saturday. They still did not feel secure in their victory over Christ, and well that they didn't, because they hadn't won a victory, and it wasn't secure. Take a guard, Pilate answered. Go, make the tomb as secure as you know how. So they went and made the tomb secure by putting a seal on the stone and posting the guard. A seal on the stone would make it a matter of authority and declare that this was not something people could be messing with. And of course the guard was there to literally ensure that no one would come along. And so this is what they did. They made the tomb as secure as they knew how. As secure as they knew how was not very secure compared with the power of God. Even if they could have sealed that tomb beneath a mountain of earth, even if they could have protected it with fortifications and buried it in concrete and deployed a large army with tanks and aircraft and missiles, they would not have been secure compared to the power of God. Nothing that we can do can stop God, and that is a great comfort and assurance. The plans of the wicked in this world, the plans of tyrants and of those who abuse and oppress, cannot stop the power of God. Those who try to suppress the message of Easter will always fail in the end, because the message is about something that really happened in history, and it points us to something that really is going to happen. Jesus is alive, and his triumph is secure. But of course, on this Holy Saturday, we wait. We wait with sure expectation, knowing that God is unconquerable and he brings about his promises. May God give you joyful expectation today as you wait for the celebration of Easter tomorrow. Blessings, everyone.